What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Ox Unbox. And this is the long-awaited, highly anticipated Ox Unbox episode 27, the Peaky Edition. And I've had this one in the works since I made this Ox Peaky Edition t-shirt way back when, a few months ago now. And thanks to the Boston Scally Peaky Blinders release, this has become tied for my second bestseller now. There's kind of like a race there. The Boston Scally, like I gotta say, with the release of the Peaky Blinders edition and the release of the Jaws, like they have boosted some of the sales of my t-shirt. So I gotta give a big ups to Boston Scally for that. I know they're catching a lot of hate lately, and sometimes I even say, yo, what's up with this and that? You stole my idea and all that shit. But sometimes you profit and capitalize on things, or, the tens of dollars that we make on our t-shirts. And, other people know what I'm talking about, too. It's really more about just, I get the great feeling of seeing people with them and seeing people kind of getting and understanding what I'm doing, and appreciating it in that way more than, the sense that I made off of it. So anyway, this is the Peaky Edition. Got Tommy Shelby in the background here. That's a little canvas I scored at a kiosk randomly in a mall one day when I took my daughter mall shopping. And today, as a cigar, I'm going to show the Minnow Cigarillo. And a cigarillo, if you're not familiar, is a very small cigar, almost like a cigarette. So I thought this would be perfect for the Peaky Blinders edition here, because Peaky Blinders, they smoke cigarettes. They walk around mostly smoking cigarettes. I don't know about cigars, even though these guys got the cigars. So the cigarillo, quick smoke, easy smoke. Still don't inhale it like a cigarette, but you sort of get that just quick. Let me step out and do that with a cigar. The cigarillo, and there's a lot of different ones. It's just a style of cigar. This Minnow one was given to me by John M. Miller, MC Cigar Shop and Lounge. Yo, John, where you at, man? I haven't heard from you in a while. If you're watching, I know you subscribed. What's up, Johnny? Give me a shout. Hope everything's well. So, on this Peaky Edition today, we're going to discuss a few things, man, because we got a little controversy going on. We do have a little controversy going on with these Peaky hats, with this Boston Scally release, with the Peaky Hat Company, and with other hats as well. So we're going to talk a little bit about my take on both hats, my take on a lot of different things coming up here. Now, usually what I do is I show a drink. So for the Peaky Blinders edition, I got two different drinks. And I said this was the ultimate taste test that I was doing today. But the ultimate taste test is actually going to be the hats. Because guess what? By order of Mrs. Ox, I'm not drinking right now. So if she catches this video, you know what I'm saying? By order of Mrs. Ox, I ain't drinking right now. And it's always good to cleanse for a little while. I usually have, indigestion issues and shit like that. So it's good to cleanse for a little while. Get your body right, get your body cleaned up, especially before the holidays when you might want to turn it back on. So anyway, this is something that you can see I drank a lot of. People rave about it. It is excellent stuff. It's the Bushmills Prohibition Recipe, the Shelby Company Limited. Right there's the image of Tommy Shelby. Shelby, I mean, this is some really, really good. I'm not a big Bushmills fan, but man, this is the shit right here. Absolutely the Prohibition blend, Bushmills. If you're going to get any Bushmills, you got to get this. This is better than this other stuff that I got, but this other stuff is pretty good too. But the Bushmills is smoother. This is the original Peaky Blinders whiskey that I had gotten, the Sadlers. And you see there, it's not Tommy Shelby, but it's like from the old school Peaky Blinders, almost like the realistic Peaky Blinders look. The blended Irish whiskey. Now, to me, personally, it's a little bit of a step down from the Bushmills, but it's good stuff as well. Both affordable bottles of whiskey for the Peaky Blinders. And when I usually drink it, I drink it in my, by order of Peaky Blinders, whiskey glass here, which I got on Etsy. And you can find this on Etsy. Actually, I talked about this and my St. Patrick's edition that I had. Me and my friend who's Irish next door from the city too. We were watching the Irish Notre Dame Irish playoff game last Christmas time against Indiana, and we fucking got hammered and wound up breaking my first one of this. But I went right back on Etsy, and I got another one. Also on the show, before I get to the hats, big ups to Nick Nefarious. I copped one of his Hooligans World Order stickers. Check out his Redbubble shop. Always like promoting everybody. That's what this is all about. It's not about the competition. It's about just friendly stuff. You know what I'm saying? And good competition is good. Friendly competition is great. I'm going to just drop that right there. I'm going to put it on my coffee cup here. I don't have a Honda. My wife got this from Honda, but I always use this thing. So I'm going to stick this Hooligans World Order right on my coffee cup here and make it a fucking badass Nick Nefarious Scally Cap Hooligan coffee mug. Just straighten this sucker out here. It's available on Redbubble, and you can get a t-shirt as well, and also this design on a bunch of other products on his Redbubble page. He's got a lot of badass designs up in there. I got a few of his shirts, but my fucking drawers are so full of shirts right now with all the Anox and all the other shit. I don't have room for another shirt, so I'm like, you know what? I wanted to make this mug that I always use more badass than it is, because it sucks. So now it's a fucking badass way to drink your coffee. Big ups to Nick Nefarious. I was also always a big Hogan and WO fan as well, so I thought that was awesome. Now everybody wants to get into the caps, and I understand that. So ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble. We're going to talk about the Peaky Hat OG Razor. The Peaky Hat OG Razor. Just tilt this a little bit. Versus the Boston Scally Peaky Blinders, officially licensed Peaky Blinders Harris tweed cap, which just came in today. Before I get to that, I just wanted to show you, because Boston Scally's been putting out Peakies. First of all, this is a flat cap, herringbone gray flat cap that I got from Chris and Sarah in my from Funky Brims in my mystery box, and it's the only plain old herringbone gray flat cap that I have. And because the BSC one I have has the UFC embroidery on the back, and other ones have other colors. So I just kind of threw this on today. Talk about a daily wear. It's made in Europe. I don't know what brand it is. Chris, reach out. I don't know what the hell brand this thing is. But what I wanted to show you is, obviously Boston Scally has their Peakies. They have with that Peaky logo, and they have the insulated Peakies now and all the Peakies that they have. But they also have the plaid Peakies, the Rose Edition. So the Rose Edition, you see there, it's called a Peaky. So this hat to me is one of the top Boston Scally caps ever made, and that's the Black Rose. Just the colors on the Black Rose, the feel of the Black Rose, the way it sits. It's a Peaky hat that's not too puffy, but it's of course not the Peaky hat that you see there. You know what I'm saying? That you see in those old school videos. So it's a more modernized Peaky hat. And so is their Peaky series. But what I want to say about this Black Rose, this is an OG Black Rose. I got this a long time ago. This is made differently. I don't know if anybody else notices about the roses. Hit me up in the comments if you do. The old school roses were made so much better. The new ones are a more stiffer material. They're less soft. They don't sit as well. And if I put them side by side here, see, you can go Chicago Bulls, by the way, 6-1. You know, I'm from New York, but I grew up with Jordan. Fuck's going on? The Bulls look good this year. Anyway, you put them next to each other. Look at how much higher that black, the Valentine Rose goes. How much higher the crown of the cap is. Top, the peak of the cap, whatever you call it. Look at that. You could tell right there the difference in the roses. Look at that, the height difference. How much stiffer and different this is made than this. So that just goes to show you that Boston Scally, in my opinion, from what I see from way back, is cutting corners a little bit on their fabrics and on the feel of the hats and the way they come in. So, you know me, I'm a Boston Scally guy. I love Boston Scally, and I'll talk a little bit more about that. But I do want you guys to know I'm not just an ass kisser, you know, who's not ever going to criticize them at all. Everybody needs a little constructive criticism. And I feel like this material on the old Rose Peakies was much better. Having said that, let's move on to the Peaky Hat Tommy OG Razor. Now, the Peaky Hat Tommy OG Razor, and Ryan's a really good guy. Love Ryan. Peaky Hat's really good hats. And one thing's with Peaky, and I love this cap. Let me just get that out of the way right away. I love this cap. If you see, it has the fake razor right here. The newer version of this is a paper razor for look. The newer version of it has more of a shiny plastic one. I got this Peaky Blinders pin from Amazon. He's got the blade pin on Peaky Hat's website, but I wanted the Peaky Blinders one that said Blinders. And that's going to lead to what we're going to say about the Boston Scally being an official Peaky Blinders cap, right? An officially licensed one. And if you saw, when I was up in Boston, I took a picture in front of that big mural and everything. So it's so cool to get the official license. And that's what you got to give Boston Scally when they do that. Because they obviously have, you know, private equity backing them and stuff like that, which I get and understand. So the way you want to shop, you want to support the mom and pop shop a little bit more, stuff like that. So Tommy OG Razor, OG Peaky Razor. See, that's that Peaky Hat. So that is Tommy, but it's not, right? So Peaky Hat. On their website, they got so many different styles of caps. I'm about to revisit it too. There was a couple ones I saw that I really want to try out that really look good. My experience with seeing people and my experience with this is they're a little bit too poofy and floppy. And I think sometimes you got to get used to the way they look in your head. So let's put this on. Tommy OG Razor, which was my Peaky Blinders hat. Right? So, with this cap, and I don't know if you can see it, I like rocking this cap. I love this cap. I think it's a great cap. But for me to go out on a daily basis with this cap, it's too formal for me. It looks too much like I need a trench coat and a suit with it, right? Whereas if you want to wear one of these caps, that's why the shirt's so great, because you can now pull off the look because you got the shirt on and it's just a t-shirt, right? So you don't need the suit and everything. That's why this t-shirt's so great. If you want to cop that t-shirt and support me. But even with this, right, I don't know if you can see it well here, but there's a little bit of poof here as opposed to there. Now, that is just, it's not that I don't like it, I just don't want to wear it to the grocery store. I don't want to wear it. It looks too much like I got to go on 1920s night to somebody's party with it. You know what I'm saying? And I'll rock it for pictures, I'll rock it for videos and stuff like that. I never actually wore it out. So, I don't know if you see the show, John Shelby tilts it a little bit, and John's my favorite character. He got blown away in like season 2 or something. But I like to tilt this one a little bit, you know, and I'm going to talk about styles a little bit soon. I like to tilt it a little bit like John Shelby, and then I feel like I pull it off more when I tilt that sucker like John Shelby. And I'm getting more into the rounded hats too now, rather than the duckbills and flats. That's why the Switcher Gatsby's are so great, because the Switcher Gatsby's, the way the cut is, it's not too poofy, it's not too rounded, it's cut perfectly, it sits so well, it's so well made. He steams them, he sends them out. Like, he's killing the game right now, because you still get that gangster look without the crazy poofiness or the thinking like you're going to a 1920s costume party. You know what I'm saying? That's not what I'm saying about this cap, but you can sometimes get that vibe from it. So we'll see what Boston Scally's got to offer soon when I open that. But again, you know, really good cap. I'm just providing some opinions and some food for thought with it. Looking at it now, I'm like, damn, I might start rocking this more because I'm actually going more for this look now rather than those flats and duckbills. Just a little bit of a change, but like I said, the Gatsby's just totally fell into that. And by the way, something that looks very familiar to this Boston Scally cap is that Swisher Warsaw, which I passed on in the past. Looks almost like the same damn hat, and it's like probably nowhere near as expensive. So if you want to check out that Warsaw, if you don't want to pay, not a huge Peaky Blinders fan like I am, I needed to get the collection box and all that, and that's Boston Scally. Could not have it. But if you don't not into that and you just want the look of it, try that Warsaw from Swisher. So without further ado now, let's unbox the Boston Scally. And what I want to talk about a little bit is how there's room for everybody, how there's room for competition. So lately, it's almost getting like politics on these pages where you got a lot of people that are for Boston Scally, a lot of people that are dead against them, that are done with them, and that's great. You're entitled to your opinion. You're entitled to purchase whatever you want. Even if it's a fucking Temu cap, right? That's what free market is. It's the consumer's choice. So by the way, just to point it out, this is made in PRC, by the way. So the Peaky hat, is made in the People's Republic of China, just for all the people who always bring that up about Boston Scally. Just wanted to say that. Again, love Ryan. I'm going to revisit Peaky hat again. But just wanted to point that out. There's a lane for everybody. So I don't discriminate. If I like a fucking cap, I'm going to buy it. I don't give a shit where it's made. I don't give a shit who makes it. I don't give a shit where it comes from. I don't give a fuck about what somebody else says about it. If I like it, I'm going to buy it. Okay? And like Todd Swisher says, there are good manufacturers in China and bad ones. And you know what I'm saying? And so there's a lane for everybody. I was talking about the lane for Swisher is the Gatsby's. Where else can you get a cut like that? Like, that's Swisher's lane. You know, Boston Scally's lane is the licensing for all the official collabs that they do. And the themes, and with UFC fighters and boxers and TV shows and movies and all that official collabing they do. Nobody else is doing that. Nobody else is dropping that every Friday. That's a little bit of a next level thing, but that's their lane. That's how they get me. That's how they, you know what I'm saying? But that's great. There's always room for that. So let's enjoy it as one whole big community. You know what I'm saying? Mulligan, where I was just at, his lane is made in USA. His lane is brick and mortar. Come to my shop. You know what I'm saying? I'll talk to you right now. Come to my shop. Everything's made in the USA. I stand by it all. That's his lane. You know, and when we go to Peaky hat, right? His lane was the gangster look, the old school look. You know, they provide less prices, you know. So his hat was that kind of like Shelby style. And now this Boston Scally is infringing on his lane a little bit, right? So we got a little bit of an overlap here. You know, and if I'm missing that funky brims, their lane is like, where the hell else can you get European-made caps like that in that variety? You can't find them anywhere else, right? So his is the quality European-made caps. That's his lane. And also providing other lanes, like, you know, a secondary spot to go for Boston Scallies with the free shipping. And so he's got a lane there with that. And the funky look and all that. And even the pages, man. Bearded Scallywags, their lane is the beard oils. Like, you want to come on and talk about beards and caps. We're providing you beard oil advice and all that, and the grooming and the beard and body, and then you go on Scally Cap Hooligans, and that's your place to be a hooligan. You know what I'm saying? That's your place to rock out your buffalo plaid and go punk rock. You know, and then he's got a lane for that stuff. You know, and the videos he does driving around, and the self-reflection and all that cool shit. My lane is, to me, you know, I came up with two fucking characters that everybody identifies with, right? It's unique. It's unique. It caught on. It came out of nowhere. And, you know, it identifies with not only myself, but everybody else's lifestyle. It's unique. It's cool. It's quirky. It's funny. You know, it's badass. You know, it's kind of all, I don't like to, like, pat myself on the back, but, you know, and I think I brought a little hip-hop to this game, you know, and so many of us have different backgrounds. We come from different walks of life. So I think I brought a little bit of that, you know, and if somebody else is going to take that and spin off on it, that's fine, as long as they do it in their own lane and be a little bit more unique about it, right? So it's always like, who's coming up with the next most unique thing? Eric Bowman's group, you know, you can do anything on there. Samuel Garcia jumps on there with his ball caps and his plaid flannels. That's where you talk a lot about that stuff, you know. So it doesn't only have to be Scally oriented, and so on and so forth. It's when you create something that's been done already and it's just regurgitated and you don't have your own lane, that's when it's not going to be successful, and that's when there's no room for it. There's room for Peaky hat, and there's room for Boston Scally to put out a Peaky Blinders cap. And I'm into it all. Now let's see what the fuck Boston Scally got. Yeah, right? I've talked enough bullshit. Let's go. Right off the bat. Awesome box. Boston Scally Peaky Blinders. Kind of getting the chills with that, baby. Tommy Shelby. By order of the Peaky Blinders. Alright. Let's open this guy up. Gotta love these box sets. I have the Jaws one, and that's my only one. I don't do the Nightmares. At least I hadn't done one yet. So right here, pretty damn cool. By order of the Peaky Blinders. Whole saying written there. You got the blade. So that's actually, I didn't know they were going to have. Oh yeah, that's a blade pin. So I'll show you when I'm going to put that. And that's more of that plastic blade. It's got the Boston Scally logo on it. Oh, that's fucking awesome. And then you got these other Peaky Blinder oriented pins there. Of course, Boston Scally provides you with that dust bag now. One of the big ups to them is how, not with this cap, but with some of the other caps. Back in the day, they didn't include dust bags. Now you got dust bag with every cap, and they really raised the price too much. Peaky Blinders Boston Scally dust bag. Let's take this out now. Lynn O'Neill from Boston Scally Insider had messaged me earlier, and she was like, "Dude, none of you guys don't look good with those puffy caps. You guys got to go back to the flat caps and the sixes and all that." And, you know, she's like, "You guys can't pull it off. You know, I haven't seen anybody can pull off that puffy style." And I said, "Lynn, I don't know. I can't guarantee you, but I'm going to try to pull it off." You know, I've seen a couple people that do pull it off. You know, so, and then the style of the cap as well. You got the whole thing with this crooked seam thing. So everybody wants to know who's got a crooked seam. Now, sometimes, let me take my glasses off for that. Sometimes it's the style of the cap. Like, if you see some of those Peaky Blinders caps, and somebody put up a thing earlier that showed Tommy Shelby with a slightly off-centered seam. So, if you see here, that seam is off-center. So, any of you perfectionists out there, you know, there's an off-center seam. Now, the question is this seam supposed to be on-center? Right? Or is this a style of a cap? And people talk about glue. I don't care about that. Like, a lot of caps are glued. Some are stitched. And sometimes you get the stitching on the heel, which I don't like. Other ones got the button. But is that supposed to be perfectly on seam? Because that's off. Right? And then you have a little bit of that overlap in the back here. You see that second section. Inside, Peaky Blinders, medium large, Harris tweed, outer hybrids of Scott, and 100% pure wool on this one. Whereas the Peaky Razor, you're going to get from Peaky Hat, you're going to get a 30% wool, 12% cotton, 48% polyester, and 10% other. And I don't know what other is. And let's look at the seam on the Peaky Hat now. You see how that's the seam, sort of? I mean, is that perfectly on line? You know? It's up to you to determine that. I mean, it looks a little more centered than the Boston Scally. I guess you can see better there. It's more centered. But not, I mean, if you look at it from here, it's not completely centered. You know, so it's the style of the cap as well. And I'm not trying to defend and everything like that. It is a little bit of concern. So I haven't put it on my head yet. To get that Peaky Blinders tag. And you get that. So, you put this on. Let's rock it. See this? You can see the seam is off center. Right? But look at the way the brim is as well. So to me, it's a little bit of the style of the cap. I put the glasses on, see how it looks with that. And to me, I'm looking at this cap, guys. And one thing that doesn't cross my mind, like the Peaky Hat, is, okay, I don't have a crazy puff on one side. The bill's a little bit crooked. You can play with the bill a little bit. Also, what kind of style are you going to wear it? You know, you're going to wear it like Tommy. You're going to wear it like John. Right? So, to me, this one I feel like is more of a knockaround. Like, I don't feel like I have to go to a 1920s dress-up party to pull this one off. This to me is like a warm one that I'm going to throw on and go outside in the winter. You know what I'm saying? It's a warm one I'm going to throw on and go outside in the winter. So the seam to me is not bothering me because that's the style of cap, but this is going to bother the fuck out of some people. A lot of people have OCD, so then don't get the cap. You know what I'm saying? Don't be like the one guy who steamed it and pulled it and tried to sit the seam straight. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't try to alter like that. If anything, call them, see what they say, see if they get you a straight one, or if that's not what it's meant to be. To me, it's not what it's meant to be. To me, I never even noticed crooked seams at all until somebody mentioned it. You know what I'm saying? So I think, personally, I'm rocking the cap. I'll take some pictures. There's no way I'm returning it. I don't do shit like that. It's a collector's item. Is it the greatest cap I ever saw? Am I flipping out at how awesome it is? No. But it's going to get wear. Because now, to me, this is one of these caps that's a daily wearer in the winter. You know, so this thing is going to get wear. So I hope I helped everybody kind of make a decision on this cap. I don't know if they're selling it out or whatever, but you could always buy it probably for a fucking big markup or something like that. To me, I'm not even going to say which one I like better because they're different. You know what I'm saying? They're totally different. This one, if somebody's like, come to my 1920s party and dress up, I'm wearing this sucker right here. And I'm going to put pins on this and stuff. And if I'm going to throw on a peaky hat in the winter to go to the store, keep my head warm, I'm using this one. You know, because it doesn't look as awkward just walking around the store with. But this, to me, is better for the total, you know, gangster old school dress-up situation. I guess that's kind of what I wanted to say. Again, thank you very much for tuning in. This was a long one. Right now, check out my Veterans Day drops for Veterans Day. Please cop that Pinheads pin. And Ox Boondocks Pinheads pin. Please cop that $10. Support me. Support Pinheads pins. Very much appreciate that as I push everybody's stuff and support everybody. I got something cooking up with a couple other Scally Cap reviewers. Dubs Hat Hub, Mark Janik, 108th Airborne. We're going to put out some cool shit together. We're collabing on something pretty cool pretty soon. Stay tuned for that. And there's going to be a bunch of other people involved in this big thing coming up. I'm very excited about it. Take care, everybody. Peace out. Have a great weekend. And rock by the order and Ox.
Take a little walk to the edge of town and go across the track where the viaduct looms like a bird of doom as it ships